Only Murders in the Building gave us an amazing episode 3, and I gotta say, I might not have too many clues on who I think the killer is this week, but I was laughing up a storm and was fully entertained throughout. Let's talk about it right now. Now, before I start, again, I'm going to ask, like I do every week, I apologize. If you like this type of content, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm 42 subscribers away from hitting 500, which is my goal for the year. And I appreciate anybody who comes in, makes a like, see the video can get up more, and subscribes to the channel if you like this type of content. But without further ado, we need to talk about what I think might be one of the best episodes I've personally had of Only Murders in the Building in a while. I was a bit worried that this Hollywood storyline, this actor storyline, would take things over, and kind of like last season, it would hurt the actual investigation and kind of the fun parts of Only Murders in the Building for me, which is figuring out the crime space. But the crew came in and delivered not just great laughs and moments throughout, but also helped this investigation move through and really was driving the story of the season very, very well. The interactions between, Steve Martin, Eugene Levy, Charles and Eugene Levy were just hilarious and spot on. Their attempts to try and get the eye patch guy to show his eye, I found hilarious. And Eugene Levy just loving Charles, but then realizing he's just the same type of person as I am at the end of the day was hilarious. And the fact that at the end Eugene kind of noticed something with the picture and was allowing himself to be hugged by the pink eye guy, which I kind of hope Eugene Levy gets pink eye after this. That'd be hilarious. For hugging him for so long. Sees the biggest clue in the episode, which is that there's a picture, and it looks like a woman had her face crossed out in this West End floor group. Again, their dynamics were kind of hilarious throughout, and I just love Eugene Levy and just about anything Eugene Levy's in. But him and Steve Martin together really tag team, not just a good investigation part of the episode, but just an overall just fun chemistry type bond in a way I didn't, wasn't sure what happened. They were probably the pair I was most confident being good this season, and they delivered in episode 3 here. The Zach Galifianakis and Oliver storyline was great because I loved how, they kind of had different actors portraying different things. You had Eva Longoria wanting to make something her own. You had Zach Galifianakis just taking a job to try and get it, take a job getting over it, and not too excited. And then you have Eugene Levy, somebody who reveres Charles as his acting chops on Brazos. So he really wants to be involved in this role and live up to Charles's expectations. And Zach Galifianakis being so uncaring about this role is kind of I'm just going to read off the lines, kind of like a distant actor. In a way, playing a very much more real, grounded individual than you even get to see him kind of be in everyday life. I loved him throughout this, and I love the conclusion of him realizing that Oliver is this sad, tragic cockroach type being that you kind of want to get rid of, but you never can because he's persistent and he's always there. And the fact that he kind of half gets Oliver and exactly what Oliver's like, and Oliver's just that's not the pitch I had for myself, but he also is happy because now Zach is going to take this movie seriously. And just watching the amazing Martin Short try to pitch his ideas to Zach Galifianakis. He obviously wasn't adding anything to the investigation story this episode, but Oliver truly never really, adds that much to the investigation episode. He's always kind of in his own world trying to build himself up higher than maybe he is in real life. And that's okay, because we love Martin Short and his performance with that. And I just feel like the way Zach Galifianakis was so nonchalant with it, even acted up like he cared until Oliver hears him talk to his agent I can't believe I got this role. This guy is so narcissistic. Because Oliver, at the end of the day, is very narcissistic in different times. Which was just hilarious and great. And I just love the interactions between each other. And I just loved Oliver's going to get the thing he wants, just not in the way he wants it, which is the perfect escalation of Oliver in any season of Only Murders in the Building. And then the true star of this episode, the highlight, the thing I was probably most worried about this season in terms of how is this going to go, ended up just being off the rails amazing. And that is Eva Longoria trying to be quote-unquote Mabel. the forwardness and the complete stupidity that Eva Longoria is putting herself on in this series so far this season, and just in this episode being just so front forward and like just wanting to be this outlandish high performative actress, I just thought worked very well in this whole episode overall. The calling out of Kamal and Johnny's, Christmas room and declaring him a murderer and like taking down the toy gun, and everything she did this episode was making me laugh to the fullest. I was worried when Eva Longoria was casted this season in different ways, but she is probably fit in the best out of everybody. She was off the rails. I feel like her charisma with Selena Gomez ended up being very, very good throughout the episode. And again, it was just so fun to see her putting Selena's Mabel in so many precarious positions. And it just was with complete disregard of anybody's safety and what's going on, and just thinking about herself as Eva Longoria. I'm sorry, it was kind of hilarious. It's the kind of character you get from so many Hollywood actors that they're not just, she's like Oliver in some type of a ways, where, Zach Galifianakis is more like Mabel, and Eva Longoria is more like Oliver, but they're dealing now with their roles reversed based on who's acting them. And it was just hilarious throughout. And Camille and Johnny and the whole entire twist to why he likes Christmas, again, hilarious, so funny. The fact that he's like, this Christmas is the only thing that gets me views on social media as a social media person, and he feels like he has to live his life through Christmas so much that he hates it now, and he has the naughty and nice list on his torso. The whole interaction went super, super well, and it just honestly was just hilarious. I loved the scene. I loved all three actors in there, and I just could not believe just how funny Eva Longoria was in this episode. And it really, again, this ended up being one of my favorite episodes in a while, because we did get clues, and we ended with, Mabel, and I love the adding of actual law for squatters' right in New York City, and using kind of real life ideas for Mabel to squat in the apartment where a gun was shot from, and them figuring out the frequency to the radio, and hearing kind of a woman accent tell them to stop, investigating, or else, maybe they'll end up dead. Much like Sazz was investigating, probably, before she was killed. It'll be interesting to see, maybe Sazz was a target, and it wasn't actually from Charles. Or maybe somebody was targeting Charles and Sazz caught on, who knows. But I love the idea that now we get a good episode where maybe next week we get like a background of what happened to Sazz in episode 4. And it has them paralleling the trails that she went through. As far as connections, I mean, I could be wrong, but the brother sisters, the directors of this film, might have a similar accent to the person on the radio. Maybe they're connected that way. I think that what we're going to learn is this apartment space. Nobody who lives on this floor, at least anymore, is actually going to be the killer. I still have my suspicions out for the writer, but maybe the brother sisters, the director duo, could be behind this. Maybe somebody else who's very fantasized with Charles, and maybe the reason why they were killing Sazz is because she was investigating that people were like hawking over Charles and watching their every move, and maybe it's somebody from the movie studio really trying to get involved and in that type of a way. Who knows? Either way, I love this episode of Only Murders in the Building. We got just enough clue breaking here in the beginning, middle parts of the season that you really got the investigating part of the story going through well. And you just had an amazing, amazing interactions with all the actors of Mabel, Charles, and Oliver. And the way they interacted and helped push forward the investigative story, I just thought was when Only Murders is in the Building is its best. When it has great comedy, when the cast has great synergy, and we're moving the plot and the mystery along. Tell me your thoughts on who you think the suspects are down in the comments, and I'll be here next week when we get episode 4 of Only Murders in the Building. But until now, everybody take a squat like Mabel, and we'll see you next week.